Full Heel Podcast for life. Yo, welcome back, Full Heel Podcast. I am your host, Rafael Chairez. And today's just me again. Another quick one. I know today I said I was going to have Ryan with me and we are going to do the Eddie Guerrero episode, but that one is postponed. Ryan is busy today. No problem. AEW debuted today, so I'll be doing a quick breakdown of my thoughts on AEW. If you missed it, it'll be a quick 20 minutes. Let's see. Let me just do a quick sound check on the... I should have done it before I started, but shout outs to the Rewrites for letting me use their music, for helping me out with the show whenever they have a chance. I'll see if I can get them this weekend to come and help me out. Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker. I've seen Robert Whittaker live once here in Chicago when he took on Yoel Romero. But I also really like Stylebender, so I don't know who to choose. But I diverse. Or whatever. Let's see. So AEW, today is October 2nd, 2019. The debut of AEW on network TV. They've had 3 pay-per-views, if I'm not mistaken. All sellouts. 2 here in Chicago. Let's see. There was a lot of rumors today that CM Punk was going to show up at AEW, and it was going to be a great start to the Wars. I'll get to that later on at the end. But yeah, and also All Elite Wrestling, for those of you guys who don't know, is backed by a billionaire. I forget what his first name, something Khan. Decided to back them up. TNT decided to give them a big deal, a network deal. WCW was the last promotion that TNT had for a wrestling promotion on their network. And, you know, we've had other wrestling promotions throughout the years. TNA, predominantly TNA. Ring of Honor still been really small, kind of locally here to Chicago. Really hasn't expanded much, but now that AEW has the network deal, it's kind of for real. Okay, sounds good. So the war is kind of really on. I did an episode Monday on Raw, kind of talked about a little bit NXT. I will be doing an NXT breakdown that's probably coming out tomorrow. I don't have enough time. I saw the 2 hours of AEW today, took notes, set up for this. I'll be set up a lot faster next time, so maybe I can do both in one night. Like I said, it's 4 hours of wrestling, and they start at 7. So the earliest I would be able to finish watching both of them would be 11, and then if I would try to break them both down, it would be like close to 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and I have work the next day. I need to get some sleep so I can wake up at 4 or 4:30, get to work at 5, yada, yada, yada. So I will be doing AEW on Wednesdays. So Monday, I'll be doing like a 20-minute breakdown of Raw. Wednesdays, I'll be talking about AEW. Thursdays, I'll do a breakdown on NXT. And then Friday, I will try to do a breakdown on SmackDown. So today's AEW. Let's get right into it. You had the commentary team of Tony Schiavone, Jim Ross, and Excalibur, I think was his name. It's a masked, I wouldn't call him a luchador. It's, I guess, a wrestler just wearing a mask. A lot of people tend to wear masks nowadays. You don't have to be in the luchador family or luchador whatever verse. So the first match we had was, let's see. We had Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara. I'm not too keen on, or not. I don't know too much about Guevara. I have seen Cody Rhodes. I know his family. Dusty Rhodes, baby, the American Dream. His dad, everyone knows the American Dream, son of a plumber. His brother Goldust is with him here now, but yeah. So Cody Rhodes starts off the match. Him and his wife, Brandy Rhodes. I don't even think they're Rhodes anymore. Yeah. So Brandy and him come out, taking on Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara is a young, very talented guy. I can see the chemistry he had with Cody. Cody doesn't seem to be a guy hard to work with. They put on a pretty good match. Guevara, like I said, is young, fast, talented. He plays the cocky heel here, being flashy, posing when he gets the upper hand on Cody, and he gets the momentum swing to begin with for him at first. Once Cody takes over, he's doing suplexes, slowing the pace down a little bit more. Eventually tosses out Guevara outside, and so Guevara uses Cody's wife to gain the advantage. So Guevara pulls Brandy in front of him as Cody's doing the suicide dive. If you guys check out the YouTube, I'll put a link up or a video clip of Cody or Brandy getting pulled in front of Sammy and taking the suicide dive from Cody. Yeah, so she takes a suicide dive. Eventually, she gets hers back on Sammy and hits him with a shoe, leading to the back body drop from Cody from the second rope, which will, let's see, gets hit. Reverse suplex from the top rope on Guevara. Cody doesn't really capitalize on this. Goes to the top rope for a second time, which allows Sammy to run up and catch him in a Spanish fly. If you guys want to see the Spanish fly, go ahead and check out the YouTube. I will be posting clips or videos to show you guys the moves. Like I said, the kid's pretty talented. Seen him once before on one of the pay-per-views. He opened up one of the pay-per-views, and he opened up AEW. AEW knows what they have on their hands, and we'll see where the storytelling goes from here on out with him, because so Cody reverses a shooting star press or stops a shooting star press attempted by Guevara after the Spanish fly, puts up his knees, and just lands a cradle on Guevara, ending the match pretty quick. Guevara at the end of the match goes to shake Cody's hand, but pretty much it's a distraction for Jericho. Guevara's shaking Cody's hand, just talking to him. He knows what's coming. And out of nowhere, Jericho comes out, attacks Cody because they have a match. I don't think it's next week. I think it's happening soon. Not exactly sure. You know what? It's the next pay-per-view, if I'm not mistaken. Jericho comes out. Guevara takes off. He attacks him for a while. Tosses him out to the outside. Power bombs him in between two chairs and even lands a chair shot before that. And kind of just beats up Cody. Jericho has a match later on that's been advertised for a while now. It's the Young Bucks. And Kenny Omega, Be the Elite versus Jericho and Santana and Ortiz. It's not Santana Ortiz. It's Santana and Ortiz. Formerly known as LAX on the indie scene. So we get to see that later on. And let's see. After that, so that was the first opening match ever to AEW on network television. After this, we get Brandon Cutler versus MJF. Super cocky heel. I don't know exactly what the MJF stands for. Like I said, I'm new to watching this. I don't know all of their names yet. Should have wrote it down, but I didn't. MJF cuts a promo insulting Brandon Cutler because he's a nobody. He's not on his level. And he's also insulting the crowd and their Dungeons and Dragon muscles, whatever that means. It worked. I really don't know what, like I said, I don't know what Dungeons and Dragons muscles means. I'm guessing it's just their forearms are strong, masturbating arms. I don't know. I don't know what he was getting at, but yeah. MJF is a super cocky heel as well, slamming and posing after every slam, after every move. He's yelling at the crowd. This was a quick match, mostly led by MJF. The only offense we see by Brandon Cutler is he tosses MJF to the outside, does a suicide dive, lands in his guard, or lands in mount, and starts landing punches. After that, he gets tossed in, and he really doesn't get anything going. So MJF reverses the situation, takes over, and gets a quick arm lock finish. Lands in whatever his finishing move is. I'm guessing it's his arm lock submission. And Brandon Cutler taps out. After this, we get a cut shot to Jane Silent Bob in the crowd. So they're talking about the Jane Silent Bob movie that's coming up because I guess Chris Jericho's in it. I guess he's going to be playing a heel in it of sorts. I'm not too sure about that. I forget who these guys are. Tyler Black, I think, was his name, and I forget the other guy's name. They were in Lucha Underground. They're the guys that wear, if you guys watch a lot of indie scenes and everything, they're the ones that wear like the long glove things on their hands. I don't know, and they wear like pants with the pads at the bottom, with the shin pads, with the big boots. They're black and green. I don't know exactly the name. They were on Lucha Underground. Tyler Black, and I forget the other guy's name, and it might not even be Tyler Black, but they're skinny, annoying guys. They come and yell at Jane Silent Bob, but then Private Party chases them off, and then they take off. After this, we get a promo by SoCal, SCU. They have a promo out in front of the White House saying how it's the worst city they've been to, how LA's better. After this, they're cutting a promo in front of the Titantron, or the walkout area. Pyro has been brought back, so that's pretty cool. I don't like it when I'm in the arena. It's super fucking loud, and scares the shit out of everybody, but it's cool seeing it. It's a much needed effect that actually wakes people up, I would say. So SoCal gets interrupted by the Lucha Brothers, and I don't know if it's them that are going to be facing off against each other next week, or we might get the finale, but we will be crowning new first ever tag team, or AEW tag team champions next week. I guess the tournament will be resolved. I thought there was like 3 more matches left to figure out the semifinals and the finals. They said it was going to be next week, but they are having the tag team tournament, so we'll see what happens with that. The Lucha Brothers start a brawl with SoCal, and we go to commercials. After the commercial, we have Hangman Paige versus the Bastard Pac. For those of you guys that don't know, the Bastard Pac is Neville, formerly known as Neville on WWE programming. Little backstory on Neville. Super high flying, very agile, super fast. Can do pretty much anything, but WWE wasn't using him right. Threw him to the Cruiserweight division, put the title on him. That kind of had a successful run after a failed babyface run. He was having a pretty good run as king of the Cruiserweights, super cocky. Kind of what he's playing now. I think he's playing it up a little bit more just because he's not in WWE. And he's just a Bastard Pac. Won a couple titles outside when he was let go or his contract finally came up with the UFC. Won some indie titles, and now he's here with AEW. He's 2-0, something that they clearly wanted to make a reference to. 2-0 in AEW, where losses and wins will mean something, as they were previously stating leading up to the pay-per-view. So, or not pay-per-view, to the start of network programming, or whatever you want to call it. This is a pretty badass match. Hangman Paige, I know a lot of people don't know him. I know him because he had briefly joined the Bullet Club before leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling and eventually joining AEW with the Be The Elite and all of them. They're all buddies. So he came over with Kenny Omega and all of them, and had the inaugural match versus Chris Jericho for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. They put on a fantastic match. They're not really high flyers or anything, but they put on a great match. Like you guys know, Jericho came out victorious, first ever champion. But Pac and Paige put on I would say, a better match than Jericho and Paige did, just because we have the contrasting styles of Hangman Paige, the stronger guy, versus the more agile, high-flying Pac. Let's see. They're both exchanging kicks and giving a little bit of offense to each other until Hangman lands a nasty clothesline. That's his thing. He lands I think the buckshot clothesline is his finishing move. But he lands a nasty clothesline early on Pac. A little bit after that, they go to the outside. Pac is getting tossed around, getting tossed into the guardrails. Hangman Page even does a suicide dive of his own onto Pac. After this, Pac takes over using variety of stomps in the corner when Page is on the floor. He's just stomping away, pretty strong stomps and kicks by Pac. Let's see. Yeah, he even does like a nasty running double stomp on Page in the corner. It's a little bit different style, more heelish turn by Pac. He's not really using the high-flying offense. It's more slowed down, more methodical, more piecing up Page, like I said, in the corner, stomping him to the chest. Page lands a powerbomb off of a counter in the corner. Catches him, lands a nice powerbomb. Something he does very well. Which I will be getting to a powerbomb spot later on. Not in this match, but that I want to talk to. But yeah, very clean moves by Page. Very good wrestler. A lot of people need to start paying attention to him more, as I think he will be a major player in AEW. So keep your eyes out on for him. Let's see. So Pac is pushed into Earl Hebner into the ropes, and they're kind of distracted. Page tries to set up a German, gets low blowed because Earl Hebner's not looking. After the low blow, Pac lands the... it's not called the Falcon Arrow anymore. It's called the Black Arrow, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I think it's the Black Arrow. Pac lands the Black Arrow into the Brutalizer, which is like the Rings of Saturn kind of move. Yeah, but definitely keep my eyes out for Pac and Hangman Page. Is this the best match of the night? Cody versus Guevara was good. Brandon Cutler versus MJF was a squash. Hangman versus Pac. Well, Pac gets a lot of the offense here. Yeah, and then he eventually... I would say he got more of the offense out of the two of them. Pac is 2-0 in AEW. Like I said, they referenced that. Landed his Black Arrow. I guess I'll get to what would be the best of the matches at the end. Let's see. After this, we have the inaugural first ever women's championship match on AEW. Nyla Rose won a 20-woman battle royal, or I forget how many women were in the battle royal. She is a transgender female, so a male converted into a female, taking on Riho. Riho beat, I forget what her name was. She was on commentary. Some dentist, some PhD or whatever it is. But yeah, so my thoughts on this. Going into it, I have no problem with Nyla Rose competing, Nyla Rose winning. If they were to put the title on Nyla Rose, I would have no problem with it. But just out of respect to women, I would say put it on Riho. After that, it's whatever. Even in the beginning, it's whatever. But like I said, just out of respect, put it on Riho. You have a storyline of Riho facing the way bigger heel and the underdog story. So let's get into the match. I'm not going to lie. This was probably the worst match out of the night. Not a horrible match. It's just the selling wasn't there. Sorry, let me close out. They're messaging me. I don't know. Nyla Rose wasn't really hitting Riho, and I wonder if that's just because she's scared of hurting her in some kind of way or something like that. But I think it was either the chemistry. They might not have wrestled. I don't know too much. I don't know if they wrestled before or what's up with that. But like I said, the selling wasn't there on the punches. For giving the punches by Nyla, the selling wasn't there. Taking moves from Riho, the selling wasn't there. And it's not all on Nyla. It's not a shit. I'm not shitting on Nyla. Riho, there was an oomph missing from Riho. She was there wrestling, but it seemed like she was just kind of just following the pace of the match. Whatever. She was following some kind of layout or something. Nyla is definitely showing her size advantage. Riho is doing that bullshit. Well, it's not really bullshit. You have to do it to sell. There was this selling, but I hate it because if you ever played any WWE game or any wrestling game, if you make your guy not a heavyweight, you can't pick up the heavyweights. You go for a German, can't get the German. That was Riho. You go for the to toss him against the ropes, you can't push him against the ropes. You go for the suplex, it's blocked. The size advantage is what sold this match. I did enjoy the match, but out of all of the matches tonight, it was probably the worst just because of the selling. Like I said, Riho did her part of the shitty selling as well. Even on one of the kickouts, she just kind of slid out instead of kicking all the way out, pushing his shoulder up, putting that extra emphasis on wanting to get out, on kicking out. They put the title on Riho, which, like I said, out of respect, I think it's the right thing to do. Nyla Rose can win it sometime in the future. Like I said, this is sports entertainment, so I do not have a problem with it. If it was just sports, and it was in a competitive atmosphere where they weren't agreeing on what was going to go on, I would be opposed to it. I wouldn't want to watch it. I wouldn't watch it because it's literally a man beating the shit out of a woman. This is a transgendered female, I think is the correct term, a male into a female, versus a female in sports entertainment. They're putting on a match. They're putting on a show. This is sports entertainment. So in that aspects, I can grasp it, I can accept it, and I'm for it, but I'm glad they put the title on Riho, like I said, out of respect to women. Nakazawa comes out to interview Riho after and congratulate her, and he says out of respect to all the Japanese fans, he's going to interview her in Japanese. Nyla Rose attacks Nakazawa and attempts a powerbomb, and here's where I want to talk about the earlier attempt. Paige hit a clean powerbomb, picks up Pac, pretty simple, executes it like just fine, to a T. Nyla Rose goes to powerbomb Nakazawa, and halfway through it has to regrip because she can't get him all the way up, and puts him down on his head. The crowd goes, oh, because literally if she would have lost a little bit more grip and he would have slipped out, he would have landed on his head, and it would have been a neck, either a stinger or something would have happened to his neck, even if it wasn't that big of a fall. The regrip was a botch, and I don't mean like it was that nasty of a botch. I mean it could have gone really bad, and it didn't for everyone's, or for at least AEW's luck. They did not have someone breaking their neck live on network TV. I know there's a 5-second delay, but that could have gone pretty wrong. She lands a powerbomb. Nyla Rose is putting Riho up on her shoulders. She's on the apron and she's going to do a move to the outside when Kenny Omega runs out and saves Riho. Don't know the storyline behind that, or if there is a storyline, or if this is a beginning to a storyline. AEW is brand new to network television. We will see later on why Kenny Omega came out to try and protect Riho. One thing I did not get in this match was it was a non-disqualification match, so there was, there was disqualifications in the match. So it was just a regular match for the title. At one point, Nyla Rose, even though she has a size advantage, goes for a chair. The ref takes it. And then at another point, she grabs a bunch of chairs and stacks them up, kind of piles them up. Puts Riho on them and goes to do a suicide dive or a swanton on them from the apron, which would have led to her being disqualified and not winning the title. So that aspect kind of threw me off. I know they want to incorporate chairs, and like I said, storytelling continuity kind of really sells matches here. Selling wasn't there, and that really didn't make sense out of the match. Other than that, it was a good match, but worst match of the night. So she swantons onto a bunch of chairs. Nyla Rose does. That was kind of a big spot. Kind of gave Riho the momentum swing back in her favor. So, yeah. Like I said, Nyla Rose loses. Riho, first ever AEW Women's Champion. And then in the main event, we had the Young Bucks with Kenny Omega, BTE, Be the Elite, versus Chris Jericho and Santana and Ortiz, formerly known as LAX on Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling. They can't use a name, so they're going by that. Quick back and forth. But it leads to a super kick party right away by the Young Bucks. We get to see that right away. But the reason we get to see that is because so Jericho locks in the walls after a little quick back and forth. He locks in the walls on Omega. They do the super kick party on Jericho. They jump to the outside on LAX. It looks like Omega's setting up to jump to the outside on Jericho, and the camera focuses in on Omega. From behind, Moxley shows up, attacks Omega. Bell doesn't ring, they let it go on. The match keeps on going, but Omega and Moxley are followed to the outside. The match is kept on going on 3-on-2. Moxley Omega battle it out on the outside. Moxley's tossing Omega into the guardrails, and they're just heading more and more out to the backstage where they make their way to a VIP area where Moxley suplexes Kenny Omega through a glass table, shattering the glass table. Him and Moxley and Omega are both there. I think it goes to commercials. When the commercials end, they come back to the match. The 3-on-2 match between Jericho, Santana, and Ortiz versus the Young Bucks. Matt Jackson is getting double or triple teamed, really double teamed, because Jericho's just on the outside. He's not even on the apron waiting for the tag. It's more Santana and Ortiz double teaming Matt Jackson, keeping Nick Jackson on the apron. Even at one point, sweeping him off the apron to not get the tag. So they use the numbers game to get the victory after Nick Jackson lands some offense. He comes in. He lands a badass bulldog on, I forget, Santana and Ortiz, but lands the clothesline on the other one, comboing a move by himself. It was pretty awesome. These guys are pretty fantastic with their high-flying moves. They call for their finisher. The Young Bucks do. But the numbers game gets to them. Pretty cool sequence of tag team action leads up here where Santana, Ortiz take out Matt and attack Jackson. I forget which one. I think Nick. I forget who takes the Judas effect in this sequence of tag team action, where all three of them come in and attack the Young Bucks. The Judas effect gets landed on like I said, one of the Young Bucks. I forgot exactly which one. But Young Bucks and Kenny Omega lose because of the interference by Jon Moxley. And if you guys go check out my YouTube, I have clips in the YouTube to all of the stuff I'm talking about, referencing. We get to see the glass table shatter between both Moxley and Omega. Just quick clips, beating him up against the door. And, yeah, so Jericho and LAX are attacking the Young Bucks. Cody Rhodes comes out to try to help the Young Bucks, but let's see, because it kind of leads into a sequence now. Let me read it out real quick. Cody runs out and attacks Jericho after Jericho and Santana and Ortiz were attacking the Young Bucks. So now it's a 3-on-3 again, but now Guevara comes out from earlier. Sammy Guevara comes out from earlier. If you guys don't remember, he had a match against Cody. He starts attacking Cody, which leads to a 4-on-3 now. But then after that, Goldust comes out and attacks Sammy. So now it's a 4-on-4, and it's just a shit mess. Everyone's attacking everyone. Then out of nowhere, Jack Hager comes out, formerly known WWE's Jack Swagger, formerly known as Jack Swagger. Now he's Jack Hager. Bellator 3-0, I believe. Definitely 2-0. MMA fighter Jack Hager is in AEW. I know he had signed on, but it had been super quiet from his end. I don't remember if he had a match at one of the pay-per-views. Seemingly joins a faction with Jericho. Seems like it's Jack Hager, Santana, Ortiz, and Jericho forming their faction, and it looks like on the other side it's going to be BET, Be the Elite, Omega, the Young Bucks, Cody, even though Cody and Omega had their thing. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes, man. Dynamite definitely brought some heat, man. It brought the boom. I'm going to watch NXT right now. I won't get to it till tomorrow, so I'll do a 20-minute breakdown tomorrow. I thought this was only going to be 20 minutes, but it's already gone 30. 2 hours. They gave me a lot to talk about. Fantastic show. I'm going to be biased here because it's the first day. It's the first night. I'm going to go 5 out of 5. They had a fantastic show. With that caveat, it was their first night. Kept me watching the whole time. Kept me entertained the whole time. And I took a bunch of notes out of a 2-hour show. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of notes. Holy shit, on a 2-hour show. Actually, what I forgot to mention was the best thing about this was the commercials. If they had commercials, they went dual screen, and they tried to hold off the commercials to the end of the match when Jericho was just nonsensely, is that a word? Was just attacking Cody for no reason, not really talking or anything. They cut away to commercials, and they had dual screen. And whenever they cut away to commercials during the match, they did the dual screen thing and still let us at least see the match in order to see how the momentum swung from one person to the other, so we can see how the story is folding out, or if one guy just dominated. That was my major complaint about Monday's Monday Night Raw. They said they weren't going to cut away during commercials. They've been cutting away still, interrupting the matches. I don't know where the momentum swing happens, so it just seems like one team is dominating over the other. That was one huge thing, which is a minimal thing that they have to do, which goes a long way in fans' eyes. In my point of view, this is a major thing done by AEW. I don't want to see commercials. I want to see wrestling, even if the wrestling is dual screen on a smaller screen. I want to see the story play out. I don't care about fucking Tide commercials or your tampon commercials or your fucking depression pills or whatever the fuck the commercials are trying to panhandle towards me. I want to see wrestling, even if it's muted, so I can see where it's going. I do not want to see the commercials, and if you have to play the commercials, dual screen it up, WWE. AEW, like I said, did it right today. That little thing, for me, gives it a 5 out of 5. Just the whole commercial thing. It was a fantastic show. It could be 4 out of 5, but with that commercial, with the commercial breaks, and where they spaced them out to, I gotta give it up to them. They did a fantastic job. And let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and end it, guys. Thanks a lot for joining me. You guys can check out some of the clips that I will be posting up here on the YouTube. So check out the YouTube for the AEW clips. And yeah. Thanks a lot for joining me. I will be coming at you tomorrow with NXT. I will watch NXT. I'll see what they came at AEW with. AEW bringing the Dynamite. See you guys next time on the Full Heel Podcast. Dig it!